How's it going? Welcome back into the den. Episode 37 in my razor review series, the Rocnel Masterclass 2026. Going to follow the same format that we've always followed with this series. I have done an unboxing and a first impression shave video with this. Oh man, I have shaved with this razor probably 30 times now. I lost count. I've been using it, meaning to get around to doing this video. I meant to do this video weeks ago, but here we are. Okay, so in case you didn't see those videos, I didn't pay for this. This is on loan from a very good friend of mine. After this video, I will be mailing it back to him. Starting off where we always start off, the efficiency score. Now, when I measure the blade gaps on these razors, I'm just using an OEM feeler gauge. So while it's not an exact precise measurement, it does give us a very clear ballpark. And so I just want to be very clear with that I'm not using an exact measurement. These are basically ballparks when I'm giving them to you. Rocnel does not provide us with the measurements on their website, so that's what we have to go with. I have three measurements for you. At 0 or neutral, you have 0.023 inches or 0.584 millimeters. If you dial it to 1, it is 0.030 of an inch or 0.762 millimeters. So it jumps up quite a bit just with that one turn of the dial. Now this is a continuous dial. There is no clicks or anything like that. So from 0 to 1, you can totally fine tune it in between any of these numbers. It's a continuous dial. If we take it all the way to 5, you get 0.54 of an inch or 1.372 millimeters. You can turn this all the way up to 12. Anything beyond 12, the head will become loose. I noticed that once you get to about 8 or 9, though, and when I say by 12, when you get to 12, the head becomes loose. I mean, like you can literally take it apart, right? At 12 is where the threads meet and secure the top cap. But about 8, maybe 9, somewhere right in there is where I start to notice that the head does wiggle a little bit. So really, I would say you can't really push it too far beyond 8 or 9 and still get that good clamping. But it is designed to basically go up to about 5 or 6. So you can get a giant blade gap on this. Now for shave angle, this is not fixed. So between 30 and 35 is a good sweet spot, with the ideal shave angle being 30 degrees. The exposure is slightly positive, so you're going to get a little bit of blade feel, but not a whole lot. It really does a good job of hitting that Goldilocks for me, to where I'm getting just enough blade feel to let me know what I'm doing, but not so much that it feels like it has a bite, and that's even at those higher measurements, at the higher numbers on the dial. For an efficiency score at 0 or neutral, I'm going to give it a 4, with 5 being average, 10 being the most efficient razor I've ever used, and 1, of course, being the mildest. So if you have it at 0, that neutral, I'm giving it a 4. As we work our way up to 5, I'm going to give this all the way up to a 10. This can be as efficient as you want it to. And at 5, that 0.054 inch, that is a giant blade gap that should mow down just about, any amount of stubble growth. Wouldn't recommend it for taking down a beard. I do recommend trimming a beard, but if you've got good stubble going on, this razor is going to take it down. So 4 to a 10 for efficiency. Next, that moves us down into symmetry score. With it, we're looking at the head thickness, the weight and balance, the knurling, and the blade tabs. This is a 3-piece razor, and the third piece, the barrel here, does fix into the handle. So it is a 3-piece. The head is huge. I mean, heads really don't get any bigger than this. This is a hammer of a razor. What is it? 5.82 ounces or 165 grams, depending on how you want to measure it. I think it is the heaviest. This is the heaviest razor. I'm going to go with that. If I'm wrong, I'm going to put it on there, but I believe this is the heaviest double edge razor I've ever shaved with, and that is in my den at 5.82 ounces. The weight and balance now, though, is perfect, and it's right where you want it to be, right where your thumb is going to be. They did a great job with that. Even though this head is so heavy, you do get a good counterbalance from this heavy handle. The knurling doesn't look all that grippy, but it is. This is a very good knurl on this handle. I love the knurling on it. Now the blade tabs stick out just a scotch. That doesn't matter to me. If you're familiar with the series, you know that blade tabs don't bother me, but what we've established in this series is that covering blade tabs is now a modern expectation with modern razors. And so since the blade tabs do stick out a little bit, we're going to ding it. I feel like for the amount of work, time, and money, we'll talk about the cost of the razor in case you don't know here in a minute, but for what they're charging for this, and with it being a modern razor, the blade tabs should be covered, and they're not. They do stick out just a scotch, just enough that it will get your nose or your ear, any of those trouble spots. But other than that, the symmetry overall is great in my opinion, with 5 being average, 10 being absolutely perfect. I'm going to give this a 9. Next moves us down into tolerance. The tolerance score. With it, we're looking at the blade alignment and chatter. Now, the blade alignment with this is very curious in my opinion. First of all, let's talk about the dial. If you don't have a blade in it, you will notice that when you tighten it all the way, the anchor doesn't line up on neutral. If you have a blade in it, it will stop on neutral. So that's, it's not a big deal, but it's one of those things that when you first get it, it kind of throws you off because it does behave differently when you have a razor in it. This floating, whatever they call it, spring-loaded thing, it's a gimmick. I didn't really notice any way that it changed one way or another. One thing about it too is that one side seems to be a little tighter than the other, to where this side compresses more and this side compresses less. And then another thing that's awkward with about it too is just that in order to have the dot aligned with the anchor, you have to have the head upside down like that. So the head has to be like this in comparison to the anchor. And if you don't do that, it won't line up. That's the biggest thing. And so that's, just a learning curve. Just, it's a little big thing at the end of the day. Doesn't change anything. The blade alignment though, and one of the reasons why, I wonder back and forth why the blade tabs are exposed, because you would think that these guys know the current expectations of a modern razor, and with the amount of time and money that they put into it, the blade tabs should be covered. There's no other rhyme or reason for that than other that I can come up with. One very disappointing thing with this razor is that the blade alignment isn't always perfect. Now, I expect that with cheaper razors, especially like vintage Gillettes, right? I mean, it's par for the course. And what I mean by the blade alignment not always being perfect is if you've ever shaved with the razor and you're shaving with one side of the head, and then you flip it and you notice that one side has more blade feel than the other. So, you're shaving along, you're like, okay, it feels like this. And then you flip it and all of a sudden you're like, damn, I feel more blade. That's what I mean, to where microscopically, you can't always see it when you look at it, although with this one, you can see it. I even had my wife look at it, and even she could notice the difference. You're looking straight down at the head. I don't have a blade in it right now, but I'll show you in the photo there. And you can see how the blade, just by a scotch, hangs out just enough to where your face notices that difference. And that can be all it takes, for irritation and stuff like that, depending on the razor, depending on how bad it is. But for the price of this razor, it should be perfect, and it isn't. Now, that's blade alignment. The other token of this category that we're looking at is chatter, the involuntary movement of the blade in the head when you have it clamped. There is no chatter. So that meets the expectations of a razor in a higher price range. Zero chatter. However, the blade alignment could be better, It's not horrible. There's going to be people watching this, you know, oh, mine's not that bad. It's not that bad, but it's not that great either. And for the price, if I'm paying more than, I mean, look, we got the Game Changer. What is that, 60 bucks from Razor Rock? The alignment on the Game Changer is perfect. The alignment on the Rockwell 6C is virtually perfect. It's better than this. So in my opinion, anything over 50 bucks should have damn good blade alignment. Anything over 100 or 200 had better have great blade alignment in my expectations. This does not have great blade alignment. It has decent to good blade alignment. I'm giving it an 8 for a tolerance score, and a lot of that is due to zero chatter, docking it points for the blade alignment. Not horrible, but not great. Permanent score, durability, construction materials. This entire thing is made of 316 L stainless steel. 10 out of 10, 5 being average, 10 being the most perfect, you know, score ever. So we have symmetry score 9, tolerance score 8, permanent score 10. Friendliness to new wet shavers. If you're familiar with the series, you know that I recommend for a new wet shaver, a first razor, I recommend $30 to $50. This razor is completely out of that category. I wouldn't even recommend it for a second or third razor because of the price. So for a friendliness to new wet shavers, I'm going to give this with 10 being an easy recommendation, 5 being a let's talk about it recommendation, and 1 being I would not recommend it. Friendliness to new wet shaver score 1. That moves us next to value. Taking everything we talked about up above and factoring it in with the cost. And if I did purchase it, if I felt like I got my money's worth, and if I was to recommend it to you or someone that I was speaking with one-on-one, if I felt like they would feel like, a lot of feelings going on here, that they would feel like they were getting their money's worth. This retails in euros for 1,150 euros at the time of purchase because of the currency exchange rate. The currency exchange when this razor was purchased was $1,348.66. When I Googled the currency exchange rate last night, it was a little less than that, but still, this is a over $1,300 razor in June of 2026, comparing it to the euros. Like a Lamborghini, like a Maserati, if you have the money, your perception of value is going to be different. I'm a blue collar truck driver, so my interpretation of value is going to be different. But as a whole, with 10 being the best value ever, 5 being an average value, I'm going to give this a 3. I really wanted this razor to be better than it is. I was really turned off by the blade alignment, of course. That's a major turnoff. It's not bad. It's not great. It's just good. And then the awkwardness of having to have the head in a particular way. You would think that with the amount of money that they put into this razor, that there would be a better way to do it. And then they try to sell this spring-loaded head as being a game changer. It's not. It's very gimmicky. And the way I see it is a potential fail point. I don't know anything, about how these springs are going to hold up inside of it. If you have the money, I think overall you'll be happy with it. But for $1,300, you could buy a lot of razors. And I think with all those other razors, you'd be happier. Now, that being said, I want to again thank my friend for sending this out to me and allowing me to use it. I had some damn fine shaves, you guys. Excellent shaves. There's just got to be mindful of how the top cap is on there, and then the blade alignment, and then just forgetting what you paid for it. That's probably going to be the best way to enjoy the shave. It's the little big things. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.